I'm Makabi.
And I'm LaShonda. And this is our story.
Hello, I'm Makabi.
And I'm LaShonda.
And welcome to our channel. So, on the last video, we talked about me saying that I'm gonna marry this woman, right? So, when we started dating, I ended up meeting her father. And that was that was a funny situation.
Let me tell you about some of this, and then I'm gonna let him. So, okay, so let me give you a little background on my dad. I love my dad. My dad is passed right now, but he passed about 4 years ago. But I'm his pride and joy. I'm my daddy's girl. Okay, and my dad is very conservative. All right, my dad was very with us girls. He was not going. It was just he was about a level of respect for the gentleman that's coming to date his daughters. You know, he did not. You had to be a certain way, because my dad, he's always dressed nice. He always had perfume on. He was always ready. That's what I'm sorry. He was that type of man that when he dated someone, he was top notch, and he expected whoever was gonna date his daughters to be the same way. You're not gonna come looking any kind of way and talking about you coming to date. We've had different stories about that dealing with my dad.
Let me tell you this. This man was so clean. His jeans was dry clean.
Yes.
I mean, his jeans had a crease in it, like military precision crease. This man was clean. I mean, every time you saw this man, he didn't come out wrinkled. He smelled good all the time. He was just that. He was that dude. He felt
he wanted the utmost respect from any guy, anybody. He was just this upright gentleman, and he expected everybody that dated his daughters to be the same. So, with that, keep that in mind. So, when we were dating, Makabi was always dressed nice. He had, except for the day with the hammer pants thing. But anyway.
You're not going to let me live that down. Just not going to let me live that down.
He was like the khakis, the button-up pants, shirts, and he was just always dressed really nice. So, okay, so my dad came to see us, because remember my dad, we were separated. They were separated. So my dad came up there to spend some time with us. So I invited Makabi over to meet my dad. So when I opened the door, okay, let me tell you what he had on. He had, the outfit was not the problem. So he had on a pants jumper. Had a shirt on. That wasn't the problem. He came in with a scarf on, like a bandana on his head.
That was bloody.
Tied. And I just looked at him like, okay, out of all the time, you want to look like you in some kind of game. I'm going to need you to get this together. So I didn't have time to say, could you please take that off your head? I ain't had time for that.
Because when you walk through the door, the living room's right there.
The living room's right there. So my dad is like right there. So it wasn't, I didn't have time, and I didn't think to warn him, like, guys, he was always dressed so nice. So why would I think this time he would actually have on a bandana on his head looking like he was a gangster?
Well, I don't know, and I don't know why I did it. I don't know. But anyway, I come in, her father's sitting there. I introduced myself, he introduced himself. Nice to meet you, sir. Shook hands, blah, blah. And we was watching the movie Edward Scissorhands.
Right? Y'all remember that movie? That's an old movie. And we was having a great time. We was laughing. Everything was going good.
Until they get to that scene. Till they got to that scene where this woman was coming on to Edward. You know what I'm saying? He's sitting in the chair and he has his little scissor hands and stuff. He's sitting there and this woman is trying to seduce him, right? Trying to, go to first base or whatever. But anyway, I'm like, why is she trying to do that? He's a machine. He has nothing, down there. And so...
No, what he said was...
I'm outspoken. If it comes up here,
yeah.
It's coming out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to wonder about what...
said, I don't know why she trying to get her some. Ain't nothing down there in his pants. And we all stopped. Like, it was like the earth stopped. And my mom, my sister, and everybody was just like, quiet. And because we knew my daddy was going to say that something. We knew it. And he sat there for a minute. He said, young man, I know you outspoken and everything, but there's just certain things you should not say in front of adults. And I was just like...
And I sat up and I said, yes, sir. I sobered up real quick. If there was any alcohol content in me, it disappeared. It evaporated.
And from then on, I thought my dad hated him. I'm beyond. He didn't, but I thought this is not going to end well at all. He done made a horrible impression on my dad. It is done, right? It is done. It is over. But that was funny. So we had to interject that and let y'all know. So that was his first meeting with my father.
Yeah, and so basically, after the Most High had told me that this was my woman, regardless of what her father. But anyway, I knew I had to go and talk to him and speak to him about what the Most High had showed me, which was, I'm to marry your daughter. Now, keep in mind, in the great state of Louisiana, you have to have at least one parent's permission to marry at a young age. So I wanted both of her parents' approval.
And I did too. My dad is I already had my mom's approval.
Yeah, because mom liked me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my dad, that's a whole nother... I needed my dad's approval.
Yes, he was daddy's girl, man.
My dad was the type of person where he was a little rough, okay? Yeah. And I was scared for Mark.
He was protective.
He was very protective.
Any Israelite Yashar'el man is.
Yes.
He is very protective of his daughters, and rightfully so. I'm protective of mine. So basically, I told her I want to go and talk to your dad about marrying you. And boy, she was nervous for me. But I wasn't nervous because I knew what the Most High said. See, the Most High ain't going to tell you something and it falls short of anything. So his word will not return to him void. He told me this was my woman. So I was going to get approval from everybody that was important in her life. And that's what ended up happening. So I go to the house. I sit down at the table with him. And I said, sir, I want to marry your daughter. And I want your permission.
First he gave me a little background on him.
Because I couldn't do that when I first met.
Yeah, because he didn't really know. Now, keep this in mind as well. My daddy didn't really know him at all. Yeah. That was just that first meeting. This is the second time my daddy is meeting him. And he's asking for my dad's hand in marriage.
For your hand.
I'm sorry. For my hand in marriage. Yeah. So keep that in mind.
So I'm telling him about my upbringing, my family. I'm telling him all that about me. And I told him, I said, I really want to marry your daughter. And I told him, I remember saying this to him. I said, I can't promise you that she's going to be rich, that we're going to be rich. I can't promise you that she's going to have all this luxury and stuff like that. But I will make this promise to you that she will never go hungry. She will always have a roof over her head. And I will love her with everything that's in me. And I'm going to take care of her, just like you took care of her. And so he kind of looked at me. And believe it or not, he gave me his approval. And I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Because I just, at that time, you believe what Yahuwah says. But when the reality hits, it's almost like, oh, wow, this is really going to happen. So I got his approval.
And we knew that it had to be.
It had to be.
You just got to know my dad.
Yeah.
And then we knew, second meeting, what parent that had such a hold on their daughters and the love and just very, very protective.
Yeah.
To just out of the blue meeting somebody that said it was something in him that knew. Mm-hmm. And I believe it was God touching on my dad to know that he was being truthful and that he knew.
And because bottom line, like I said, in the state of Louisiana, all you need is one parent. So, he could have said no and I still could have married her, but it wouldn't have meant as much because she wanted her father to give her away. And so we look back on it, and I remember that day when we got married. And that door opened up, man, and she's standing there with her father, and her father walks her down the aisle, man. And yeah, I got a little teary-eyed, man, because I know this man is giving away something special to him. She was special to that man. And I dare not take this special woman from her father to mistreat her, to do her wrong, to do her bad. So I just knew, man, I got some big shoes to fill. I have to really, really be that husband because he's given her to me. He's given what's precious to him to me. And it kind of reminds me of how Yahuwah gave Eve to Adam. He brought Eve to Adam. And so that was really special to me. I to this day I get kind of choked up about that because, like she said, he's at rest now. And so, and before he died, he was like, son, I'm so glad I said yes to you, marry my daughter. And we both get choked up sometimes just thinking about I did him proud. And my father passed away after we got married, and we've been married for a few years. And my daddy had strokes and stuff, and he had all kind of health conditions. And my daddy never validated me. And I tell my sons and I tell young men all the time, every young man needs validation. He needs validation from an older man, a more seasoned man, to let that young person know, hey, you're on the right path, or you're doing good. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. And every time my father-in-law would come visit us, he'd say, man, son, I'm proud of you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I know it's hard. You're raising 4 children and stuff like that. Like, hang on in there, son. And I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And right before he passed, he said, I'm so glad I said yes to you, marry my daughter, because you've taken care of my daughter. He had a chance to come see the beautiful house that I built for his daughter. He was just he stuck his chest out proud because he was proud of the man that I've become. He validated me, and he was so happy that I took his daughter and cared for his daughter. So, yeah, so he's truly missed. He's truly missed, and we love him, and I love my own father. But my father, he didn't give me that validation. Nothing bad about my father. In his last days, he couldn't. He just really couldn't because his health was so deteriorated. And so, but I thank my father before he passed away for all the whippings. I thank him for all the chest, all the punishments, all of that, because it made me who I was. Because if I would have been left to myself, telling who I would have been. So my father raising me made me into a man that was able to love her. And so that's why fathers are so important. That's why men in the household is so important. To show their children this is what a real man's supposed to be. And so I just thank Yahuwah for my father-in-law and my father, because those were strong men in both of our lives, you know what I'm saying? And both of them were there at our wedding, and both of them saw us have children and stuff like that. So we're just blessed by that. So we're going to pick it up from here on our next video and talk about our life together as married couple. Yeah.
Young married couple.
Yeah, young married couple. Hi, y'all stay tuned.